Developmental disabilities. They're now fundraising for an incredible endeavor. Leaders tell Atlanta News First Sora Bussey why a trip to Korea, this one right here, will be an opportunity of a lifetime.
There is something to be said about having a helping hand. Someone who can help guide you when the path is confusing. Someone who can help pull you in the right direction.
I'm not just helping them play, I'm helping them be happy.
You are watching Orchestra Soup perform. The band is made up of Korean American people with developmental disabilities. When they have trouble following the music, volunteers lend a helping hand, helping someone follow along with their notes, or anticipating the music, even helping musicians pull their arms so they can play their instruments. The band has practiced close to 3 years, some of the members starting with the orchestra having never played an instrument in their lives.
I want their life to be happy. To be happy, I think they have to have something they can do what they like to do.
The nonprofit is a Christian organization. They are fundraising right now for their next performance. They've raised close to $35,000. They've been invited to play at an autism expo in Korea this summer.
And the music helps people.
Every time they break it the limitation and growing up.
In Swanee, Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.